So a little bit of review of where we're at so far. Make sure you're paying attention. So the front part, I did this sketch. And I showed this sketch, I showed this sketch the last time. I did it a few different ways. But I hope the takeaway you get is that using constraints and using rectangles or circles or arcs, which have some embedded constraints with them, can save you a lot of time. You good?
What's the password? Like the M word. I know it's like hashtag M.
I don't know. Maybe you should look at Canvas. I guess you should look at Canvas.
Myrtle.
I guess you should look at Canvas.
What's Myrtle?
Imagine looking at Canvas.
Thank you, my fellow classmates, for assisting another fellow classmate.
Imagine looking at Canvas. That's enabling.
It's not enabling.
So is Canvas though.
It's
You should have to
enabling.
guess it.
It's enabling. Okay, so we are in a, let's say, fairly good spot. Yeah, fairly good spot. Now, let me ask you guys: do you want to round them corners
Not yet.
in this sketch, or do you want to round them corners in a different sketch, or as a feature?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. Okay, you can get your calipers and you can measure these corners. I'll do, like, for example, the outer ones as just a starting point. So maybe, I don't know, maybe 1.6, maybe 2. Let's just try it 2. Let's try a fillet of 2.
Lay of 2.
So if you do that, you'll notice that you actually are still able to dimension to this quote-unquote corner, but you'll notice things start turning blue now. Okay, it definitely messes with your constraints and stuff when you do this with the rectangles. So I am going to do it as a feature. Okay, that's kind of my recommendation if you can do it as a feature. Okay, we good so far? All right. Now, we're going to have to go a little bit on faith here, but before we get too far away from this, I'm going to make a minor recommendation. All right? I'm going to make a minor recommendation. I would get how far this gap is as a number. If you look carefully, I don't know how well you can tell up there on the screen, but if I dimension this, okay, do you see how it's gray? You see that? Do you see how it's gray as opposed to the other dimensions being black? I don't know if you guys can see that on my screen. No one's saying anything, so.
What? I can see it. Oh, yeah.
My dimension is gray instead of black. So why is that? Well, the reason why it's doing that is this is what's called a driven dimension. What I'm actually doing here is I'm not telling it to be 1.35. What I'm actually doing is I'm just measuring it. Because that dimension is constrained by everything else I'd already done beforehand. It was predetermined. So I can't actually set that to be whatever I want now without deleting some other constrained dimension. So it's gray, just telling you that's what the distance is. It's a driven dimension, though. You don't actually get to set that number. Okay? We good? I hope. The reason why I did that, I just wanted to get that number, 1.35. You can even delete that if you want. I'm actually going to exit this sketch, and I am going to just change these fillets here. I'm going to change them to 1.35. It's basically that same number. And if you're wondering why I did that, it is so that if you look very closely here, do you see how the fillet now comes all the way down to this transition?
Yes.
Okay. This is what I'm going to be extruding later on. I line that up. So again, if you're wondering what I did, in this sketch that we just made, I just used the dimension tool to measure how far this gap is right here. Yes, yeah. I don't actually get to be able to set that number. I just measured it. And then for me, it was 1.35. It may be a different number for you. You should take your number, okay? And then what I'm doing, I'm going to undo that. I don't really need that number there, okay? What I'm doing then is on these inner fillets that I had done earlier, okay? I just made sure that they're the exact same number, okay? That way this fillet comes right down flush with that rectangle I drew. We're good? Yes, say yeah. If any questions? We're good? Okay. This is about making your stuff internally consistent, okay? Making things line up with each other. All right. Now, I hope you can appreciate that I'm probably going to have to do some rounding of corners, and we'll do that later. But what I am going to do, I'm going to try and use a new technique here, something we have not really done before. I need you to measure how wide this part is that we haven't extruded out yet, okay? You can measure the whole height and then subtract the part we've already extruded, or you can try and use the calipers and ballpark the height, okay? You do you. But I want to know what that height is. I told Cass that you and Evan fixed her microwave. Even though I'm the one who took it apart and put it back together.
I will never use it again.
I bet you she will. Yeah, I'm getting about 12.5 as the height of this part right here up top. How much it goes above this lip. About 12.5 millimeters. Sound good? Yes, say yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to redraw that sketch. But we're going to draw it 12.5 millimeters away out in space. And the reason why is if you look carefully, look in between the clips. Do you see how that's slanted in there? Do you see that? So if you extrude, it's just going to be a straight thing, right? But we want some of that slanted, so I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, all right? So you should be out of your sketch. Are we out of our sketch? Yes, yeah? We're good? Okay. We're going to add what's called a work plane. So reduce rendering performance plane. Right here, do we see this? Plane. If you click on the drop down arrow, there's actually all these options, but we're just going to go with the first one.
Plane.
Yeah, plane. So what you do, I need to get out of that. What you do, listen very carefully. When you are making a plane, gentlemen, stop touching each other. When you're making a plane, you can actually create it anywhere you want so that you can sketch wherever you want. I want to sketch on a plane that is parallel to this surface, but I want it to be like over here. So I'm going to select the front plane. What am I selecting? And then while the front plane is selected, I'm going to click on plane here. And then, do you see how it says this offset distance? Do you see that? Mm-hmm. I'm going to set that equal to the height of that part, which is 12.5. For you, it's a different number. Now, you can control the direction that it goes with this black arrow. You can control what direction it goes. I do actually want it to go this direction, though. Do you see how I have my plane offset now? We see this? Yes, yeah. I want that. And you can actually rename things. Like I could call this, I could rename this. Like I could call this the front edge plane, or just call it the front edge. It's the front edge of my part, okay? And I'm going to rename this sketch. I'm going to call this the bottom of top. Okay?
Top of bottom.
And then I'm going to make a top of top. Or actually, I guess it's more bottom of front. Bottom of front half. Because I call my other thing the back half. So this is the bottom of the front half, I guess, might be a better term. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sketch on this new plane. So make sure you have the new plane we made selected. We're good? Yes, yeah. And I'm going to make a new sketch on that. And I'm going to go back to the front and look at it like this. Now, if you look very closely, the sketch I made earlier is there. It's not in this plane. It's not editable because it's in a different sketch. But we can still see it, right? We're good? Yes, yeah. And we're going to mimic it. We're going to mimic it. So we're going to do the center point rectangles. Yes, yeah. We're going to do the center point rectangles. I'm going to do the same technique I did before. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to kind of make one like that. I'm going to make one like that. And I'm going to make one like that. The only constraints I really have at this point are this is on the origin. And this is horizontally aligned with the origin. And this center is horizontally aligned with the origin. Are we good so far? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you a moment. All right. If you were to redraw this sketch we did earlier, you'd have to like retype all the dimensions, wouldn't you? Right? So I'd have to like remeasure those dimensions or go back in the sketch and look at them and redo those dimensions. That'd be a real pain, wouldn't it? That'd be a real pain, wouldn't it? I don't know that I'd want to do that. So like I could, just watch. It would take me all this time to do that, right? I had to like redo this coincident constraint that I did here. Don't do this, just watch. I had to redo this coincident constraint here. I'd have to do this equal constraint here, and then here, and here. Okay, it's a lot of work, right? I'm not even done. Then I have to go dimension those two things, right? It'd be a pain in the butt. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if I could just, like, use the rectangles I already drew? Wouldn't that be nice? Like, hypothetically, right? Wouldn't that be nice? So, there's different ways you can do this. But if you look right here, it's next to the A. It's like a white cube. When you hover over it, it says use or project. You guys see that? So just watch what this does. If I click on this, okay, I can click on like this rectangle or just an edge or even just a corner. And if I click on it, it pops it into my new sketch. Oh, look at that. Easy, right? Yeah. This button right here is called the use or project button. It's right next to the A. I click on this. And then I can click on something anywhere and project it into the plane. So I can click on just the edge or just a corner or the whole rectangle. Project, project. Easy, right? Easy. Yeah? Now, I don't want to project the middle rectangle because it's going to be different. I want a different side. But those other two are the same size, right? Yeah? So if you want, you could redraw them and redimension them and redo all the constraints. You could kind of go half and half. Like you could project the center of those rectangles and then put your new rectangles on that center, but you still have to like redimension them and reconstrain them. Or you can just project those two rectangles. Are we good so far? Yeah? So projecting can save you a lot of time. I hope I've convinced you of that. Yeah. Now with this rectangle, this one's going to be smaller, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to do a coincident constraint. What constraint? Just to make it the correct width. So line those two up. So it's the correct width. And then you can measure this height right here. this height. Getting about 7.5. And I'll just dimension that height. $7.5. We good? Yeah? Yeah. With the projecting, this was trivial, right? I drew a single rectangle, I used one constraint and one dimension, and the projecting did everything else. We're good? Yeah. Any questions? You're just jealous you weren't in the fight earlier. What?
I'm still in the SAS class.
Follow the stream.
The lines will they like show up when I press.
Follow the stream. Go look at the video on YouTube.
How do you get the lines to project out squares? They're just not showing up.
Bro, dude, you click on the project button.
Yeah.
And then you click on what you want to project. If you hover over like the middle of the square, then you can project the entire square. It's not actually a square, but it's, a rectangle. Here is my sketch at an angle. Here's the sketch I made earlier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't see it.
Well, did you already project?
No.
Okay, well, if you need me to help you, then you need to bring your Chromebook up here. I'm not going to do that. You know how the rules are. You need to follow. This one I'm going to call top of front half. So you projected. Do we do this sketch?
That's just not showing up.
Well, this plane, I can tell you right now, is definitely not far enough away.
I'll accidentally press one instead of left.
Well, that's not the issue. It's an issue that you need to fix at some point. I mean, you just don't click on it. Just type it out. Oh, you measured it from the back part of this. You should have done that.
Instead of the front.
Yeah. You're gonna wanna. You're gonna. Yeah. But this here is a sketch that you made, correct?
Yeah.
So it is.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what I'm gonna do now? I'm done with that sketch. We're gonna connect the two. We're gonna use what's referred to as the loft feature. What are we using? So you're gonna click on loft. It looks like the nuclear power plant exhaust thing. Okay, weird looking cone. You click on that. All right. When you choose loft, all right, you basically just choose two surfaces or profiles. So the first profile. All right, if you pay attention here, I'm going to click on these rectangles. There's my one profile. Yeah. And then I'm going to click on these other rectangles. This should work, but I don't know if it's going to. It might be a bath. It might be nearby. There's no path. Oh, that's sad. Well, it's really easy if you have a single enclosed shape going to another single enclosed shape. Whenever you like combine things, it's a but. Yeah.
So can I just go around and be like, do this square to the front square and then middle square and then.
I think, like, if you were to do that.
Yeah, that.
And then you were to click on
Oh, nope.
that.
It's evolved.
It's evolving. It's evolving. I think if you do the end profile condition tangent to profile, maybe it'll work. Well, I don't want to waste time figuring out. So what we'll just do, this is going to be annoying, but totally doable. You're going to just loft the middle like that. Sound good? Yeah? Sound good?
Yeah.
We'll just loft the middle.
Can't we loft the squares too?
I was really hoping we could do this with like one loft instead of having to do like extrusions and lofts.
Well, you can do.
But it's not. Oh wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. You click on this, and then you click on this. You see this drop down arrow? What is that?
Okay, now I'm just.
Anyway, that's our loft. And there it is. I'm going to call that, I'm going to rename it center of front half. What?
Is there a way to just like scoot everything back behind the front edge?
I don't know what you're asking.
Yeah.
I mean, do your work playing correctly the first time. Yeah. So in order to do the sides, you can just, if you click on a sketch, right? Do you see this eyeball symbol next to it? This is the hide or reveal. Typically, if you use a sketch to make a feature, it automatically hides it. But it doesn't disappear. You can use the sketch again. So you can either, if you can either extrude this square and ignore this one, or you can just loft them. I'm going to loft it just because I feel like lofts are just cool. So I'm going to just call this the left of front half. The other one would be the right of front half. Easy. You could have just extruded those. I was hoping to do this as one single loft. It probably is possible, but I don't know how much time with it. So if I had known it was going to be a butt like that, I would have just done extrusions for those, but this is fine. So that loft is a way to get an angle. It is not the only way, but what I like about it is the other ways to get angles usually require you to measure the angle, the slope, and that's a lot harder to measure. We good so far? Yes, Iya?
Far.
Okay. Well, at this point, we're going to apply some more fillets. So I'm going to do I measured it, I believe it was 2 millimeters. So those are the fillets I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call this rename. So this is the front outer fillets. Okay. And then the inners, I'm going to assume are the same as these. Okay. I'm just going to assume that they're the same. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I'm going to just assume that they're the same. So I'm going to do the fillet again. And I'm going to go with, I believe it was 1.35. And I'm going to click here and here. And then I'm going to do the same thing there. Oh, that's not perfect, but there.
What the fuck? It's twisted.
What is it doing? It's
Twisted.
my arm is twisting.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's only for someone.
Pablo,
I can't
Pablo.
give assistance, bro.
You have to watch the video. That's what you have to do. Because the video you can pause whenever you need to.
Right now. What else do you do? Thomas, I figured the plane thing out.
Oh.
You good?
Yeah, I figured it out.
I mean, really just do it correctly the first time.
Okay.
So like,
I
if the plane's in the
misunderstood.
wrong spot, delete the plane and do it correctly. Don't like try and salvage your situation.
Hold on, my original thing was ahead of the first plane instead of behind it. Like the original sketch.
Yeah.
I just did it wrong.
Just one.
So I just made a new plane in front of it at the same distance that I extruded it. And I added the plane that we need onto that one.
Hey, this looks like Fiddler's Grip.
Those rectangles.
Oh, it's
Red!
Yep. It's really unfortunate. Who got close?
Harry and Parker. They say they're not.
I got clothes, bro. What?
Those five down.
Oh, look, yeah, my
They
state.
have the same size.
Oh, she.
Those
My
rectangles should be
mistake,
smaller,
Andrea Nelson.
right? Right, because it should be like narrower.
Oh.
Yeah.
But regardless, you have to do one at a
Art
time.
got you,
So
buddy.
this sketch, if you can use
There you write it.
You figured that out.
Hey, you already know.
There's still one part of it.
This rectangle. Short.
And it won't fit
Oh,
around.
boys.
Why did they put the third place on?
Third place.
They could have stayed their place because it was a bundle. I know that would have been better.
Oh.
That's an issue with the sketch. That's the thing. So.
Oh, dang.
Hey, how much is that? They put class 2 on there too.
Where am I at?
This sketch might go.
Andy Debbie.
Other hand.
Where's the
Oh, yeah.
Projected something.
No, they got Sean's
Projected
number wrong.
this. So that tells me
33.
that sketch is
They got his number wrong. Wait, what's
a
this?
sketch, right?
At 3.
You drew your rectangle too far.
That's crazy. I wonder where the save Parker is.
You lined this up with something wrong.
There it is, double zero. I always think double zero. Logan took 0 first year.
This one's correct, right?
Well, I have to go back and read in every guide in so. Aha.
It's a constraint.
I got it.
You did your coincident constraint of this.
Like it.
Okay. Why did you do it?
You did your coincident with something else.
Projected on
I don't know. Like this. And then one lock to that too. See how it falls back. It's a rectangle. Locked to like.
Well, I'm the perfect
Not
happy.
locked to this edge though. And then this one. This one was correctly locked to this edge of this rectangle, but this edge of this rectangle has something.
Stealing our stuff. Look, you're the one that the stars.
You can see that this side's correct.
So you can move it. I can.
Okay. That would be good. Okay. At this point, what we're going to do is we are going to do the holes on the top. Yes, yeah? Yeah. So everybody's holes are a different, like, shape. So I'm going to show you a few different things that you can do to make a shape. At this point, things are starting to get a little cluttered. So what I would recommend you do is turn things hidden. So like this plane here, that's called the front edge. You click on it over on the left side, and you click on the eyeball, and now it's hidden, right? Makes sense? Yes, yeah. This sketch, top of front half. I don't need to see that anymore. I can hide it. This sketch called bottom of front half. I don't need to see it anymore. I can hide it. You're not disabling it, you're just hiding it. Okay? That cleans things up. If you ever want to take your front or right or top plane and hide them, you can hide them at any point in time. You can even hide your origin. Okay? So if you need to hide things, by all means, do that. I'm going to sketch now on this top part. Yes, say yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I am going to draw my shapes. Now, I'm going to show you how to draw a variety of different shapes. How many of you have a blue piece, ovals? I don't think anybody does.
No.
Who has circles? Is that the blue car? Are they're perfect circles? Okay, who has diamonds? Is that the purple car? Who has squares?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a square, right?
Yeah.
Square gang.
Might be a rectangle, but yeah, it's a square.
I think it's a square, very close to a square, yeah. What's orange? Jordan, what's orange look like? What shape? Triangle? Okay. Folks, look up here. Pay attention. Pay attention. If you want to draw a circle, it's right here. You draw a circle. The center should probably line up with the origin, right? Easy. If you want to draw an ellipse, you got to click this drop down arrow next to the circle, and there's ellipse. You place the center. You place 1 point to go one direction. You place 1 point to go the other direction. We're good? Yes, yeah?
Yep.
If you want to do a triangle, right here is the polygon. You can use the polygon if you want, okay? But I'm going to show you how to do it with just lines, since it's only 3 sides. And this will also help you for the diamond. If you have a shape that you need to draw, and you can't do it with a polygon or a circle tool, you got to draw with lines, right? So, let's do the diamond. Because that one, you can probably apply the logic somewhat-ish to the triangle, okay? Actually, no, that's not true. Jordan, you're the only person with orange. Anyone else have orange? Okay, so when you do inscribe polygon, you click to place a center. You click to place the size, you move your mouse, and that determines how many sides there are, and you click to place it. That center, I want to be very clear, is not the same distance from this point as it is this edge. So you do not line that center up with this necessarily. Do you understand? Is the point, is a point to the outside, or is it point up and down? Points up? Yeah, so you'll just have to measure how far this bottom edge is from like this edge. And you'll probably want to do a horizontal constraint on the bottom edge so that's level. Are we good? Okay, so you can do your square. Or sorry, your triangle. Those of you with squares, you have the easiest. You just do a center point rectangle, place the center there, do it. Yes, yeah, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, and then you dimension things. If you have a diamond, pay attention. Ready? Line tool. I'm going to start with my line tool on this axis. Yes? I'm going to go up. I'm going to go down. And I'm going to end back on the axis. Yes, yeah, yeah?
Yep.
I'm going to go down. And I'm going to go back up. And I got my diamond. Now, one thing about a diamond is all four sides are the same size, right? So equal constraint. Equal constraint. Equal to equal. Equal to equal. Equal to equal. What I did is I set each line equal to the top left line. That's what I did. And then you can dimension what you need to dimension to make sure everything's black. And then you can do it again for the other side. Are we good? Yeah. I'm going to let you try and do this on your own. We don't have a whole lot of time left. If you need to put your car back together and then put it away, please feel free to do that. But next class, you'll have time to work on your shapes. We'll then cut those out. And then we will be mostly done with this connector piece. What?